Story. Too much Toy Story. You already know what it is. All right.
We live. Yes, it is your man Anthony Smith, and I'm sitting here with my guy.
Yo, P in the building.
And this is Chop It Up. Normally your weekly dose, but we've been double dosing. We've been triple dosing. We sitting at home, so we've been giving y'all a lot of content for you guys to chime in with, P.
Right, we got a lot of time, so we ain't gonna be wasting it.
Today, I got time. Man, what we gonna get into today, P?
We're gonna touch on two different things, and the first one being the trials and tribulations of starting a podcast and utilizing your free time.
Yeah. So basically when we started this whole Chop It Up thing, it came accidentally. It was something that I just one day pulled over at P's house, and we hadn't chilled in a long time because both of us had been busy on two different schedules, and I had all of my camera gear in the car, and I was like, P, we about to do an interview. And we were sitting there and going through the interview, got through the interview, everything was dope. And then P goes, what you gonna call it? And I was like, I don't know. What you think? Let's call it Chop It Up. And I was like, for sure. So it wasn't even a podcast. It wasn't a series. It wasn't anything. It was just something that two creative people decided to sit down and just have a conversation and film it. And that's where this whole thing kind of bloomed from. And then we just kind of ran with it off of different individuals from the social media sites that we posted it to, kind of telling us to keep it going. Like, you guys got something going here. Like, you guys, we would love to hear this continue on a weekly, daily basis whenever you guys can get the content to us. So it took myself and P to figure out, in between our two busy schedules and our families and our ladies and our kids and everything that we got going on, when are we going to have time to sit down on a regularly scheduled basis and get this thing recorded? And real quick, we realized we are not going to be able to get it done every Monday at 5:00. Like, it's not going to happen. We're going to have to link up one day a week whenever we both have time and make it happen. So unfortunately, we don't have a set schedule, but we do like to get things out on a weekly basis.
Right. As you can see, like you'll see there was like a almost like a 4-week gap.
Yeah.
Where it was towards the end of wedding season. And we just got slammed. You know, Ant was booked with gigs. I was booked with gigs. And, you know, we got to make sure that we pay our bills outside of this, you know. And to be real, you know, that early in with not too many episodes out there, we didn't even think that, like,
nobody was listening. It wasn't even like a thing. Like, we were like, y'all really cared. You know what I mean? Like, and then we started getting the feedback of, where y'all at? What's going on? And people DMing and people chiming, because we didn't even have the social media platform set up for Chop It Up. We just had the podcast on, what is it? Spotify and iTunes. You know what I mean? And it was just like, from time to time, we would post on our personal Instagrams what was going on and to our personal stories. And that's where we were starting to hear that friction of, where's Chop It Up at? What's going on? Like, we miss you guys. And I was like, oh man, we got a little something. P, what's cracking?
Right. So, you know, shout out to everybody that's still been following us. Man, without y'all, I know like that feedback kind of woke both of us up and kind of kicked us both in our ass. Like, well, shit, man, if folks want it, like, let's give it to them.
Let's for sure give it to them.
So, you know, as always, like, we wouldn't be nothing without you guys. And I don't even think we would keep our motivation to where it's at. And not necessarily motivation. I would say our, what word am I looking for?
Our drive.
Accountability.
Yeah. The drive, accountability, all of that. Because it's going to be too difficult to keep that drive when you feel like nobody's out there listening. Right.
So I think that's one of the trials and tribulations right there. Is, you know, is who the hell's even listening to you? Right. Like, is anybody paying attention to what you're saying?
It came down to, it was always something that was on the back of our minds, on the back burner of something that we wanted to do, but it wasn't really time. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't really have the reason to jump out and do a podcast, and at that, a video podcast, you know what I mean? Because that's quadruple the work. Now you're taking the audio, mounting it with the video, and posting it to a whole nother social platform that we weren't even used to using on a daily basis. So that was something that we had to learn. And even finding out where to post our podcast to now was an experience, and the equipment and the sound and the mics and learning how to work all of this. And it was just, we're happy that you guys were able to grow with us and see and hear where we came from, because I like to go back to those older episodes and just check the volume and like, man, like, you know, like within these last 25, 26 episodes, like, man, we came a long way.
Right. If you listen to the early episodes when it first started, you know, the first handful were solid because we were in a more solid room. And then we moved into the studio, and the studio is hollow.
Boom, boom, boom.
So
boom,
now
boom.
we sounded like we were in space. So it was like, damn, how do we fix that? And we always trying to go a cheaper route. You know what I mean? So I'm always the bargain dude. So I'm always like, hold on, there's got to be a way we can do it without spending $6, $7, $8 grand.
Right.
You know,
I'm like, blow the bag, boy. They need us. Blow the bag. Here you go. Run it up. Ching. Take this little change.
But yeah, man, we dialed it in. We got better. We still got some work to do, but no, it's gotten a lot better. And
we're getting better and better by each and every episode and realizing our flaws. And a lot of times it takes us listening back to our older episodes to kind of grow from those episodes and realize what we're doing, because everything that we're doing right now is somewhat new besides hitting record on a camera.
And, you know, the point where we want to get to is
I want Joe Rogan's ass. That's who I want. I want Joe Rogan.
we definitely want to make a big impact, but we want this to be seamless, you know, because we both got, outside of everything that we already do, you know, we got responsibilities outside of trying to do this podcast. The podcast right now is kind of like our fun time. You know,
100%.
This is where we're spending our fun at.
This is where I get to see my boy P once a week. You feel me? Because it was a minute, like we was going weeks and weeks, like just shooting text messages. I know he pulling up. He got to pull up one day. This week he pulling up.
Right. So we, you know, the cool thing about it with starting it up with Charles and the you know, trying to get everything going is we've always kept it fun. So the pressure of it like being perfect, we're already perfectionists when it comes to stuff, but we don't feel like this is our like 9 to 5. Like we're our immediate like target isn't to get sponsored and get paid off of this and make sure that it's starting to pay rent and all that. So we don't have the pressure on ourselves on there. Now, would we like to get there at some point?
Yeah, most definitely.
We're not hiding that, you know.
Those are goals. You know, those are goals that if you don't have those, stepping into something is, I don't want to say wrong with you, but it's the difference of you starting something and not seeing a future in it. You know what I mean? Like we see a future in what we're doing, and it's because we're trying to help people get out of ruts that we were stuck in. You know what I mean? Like we're still growing each and every day, and every time we hit record and every time we hit that shutter button, it's a learning experience for us. So for us to be able just to bring that knowledge to you guys on a weekly basis, and that's something that's still hard to find out there, period.
Right. I definitely think that we speak a little unconventional when it comes to this kind of stuff.
You know what I mean? Like when the very first time I hear a huge podcaster say anything about a gig talk, I am gonna go bananas. Like, because they heard us. No matter if they directly hit us, no matter if they directly follow us, somehow, some way, our content got to them. And it was just like, we got to start doing these gig talk conversations because it's a good idea. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's something that it spawned naturally from me and P, just because we're out there on the grind, in the trenches with you guys. And these are things that we come back, and these are normal conversations that normally they wouldn't be recorded, because we were having gig talk conversations amongst each other before it even had a title.
Right. Right.
We still need that jingle. Don't think it's out. You know what I mean? Still need that Gig Talk jingle. So if
Right, we
somebody
waiting
can
on
get
y'all.
us that little goofy Gig Talk jingle,
Gig talk.
we
Gig
need it. If not, we're going to put something together like we always do. And maybe later on down the line, we'll replace it. We'll have a contest. We'll give something away. But for right now, what we're giving away is this knowledge.
Right, and this, I know with the stipulations, everything that's going on right now, some of you guys might be slow, but this is what you can do with your free time. This stuff is free to do. You already got the equipment at the house. Why not take some time and sharpen some other skills?
Sharpen them tools. You know what I mean? You already have the equipment, so why not plug? I was listening to one of the YouTubers that I follow, Matt Diavella, and he was one of the reasons that I wanted to but the whole reason why I ended up over at Peace House that day to interview him, because he had a bunch of intriguing friends that were kind of in film and in writing and doing different things. And at the time, they were all just getting out of college and trying to figure things out. Some of them were moving faster than others. And I felt like, besides the college fact, that's where me and P were. We're just out here trying to figure things out. And these conversations needed to be recorded and had and shared with other people, so you don't feel like you're the only one that's out there in the world that's going through these same things. But with that being said, he was like, right now you have all of this equipment that's sitting at home. Start plugging stuff up. Start playing with buttons. Start seeing what this stuff does. And yesterday I had a full blown day of just going through wires, plugging stuff in, seeing if this will work, seeing if that'll work. And for a long time, I've been not wanting to go live, because live has never been my thing. Live has never been something that I'm just like, I'm gonna go live today. You know what I mean? Like, I'm comfortable in front of the camera, but sometimes it's like, go live for what? You know what I mean? Like, if we're doing this, I can understand it. But sometimes it's just like, I'm not really doing nothing. Nobody wants to see me sitting here editing. But at the same time, maybe somebody does. Maybe somebody's bored and somebody's trying to figure something out and they may have a question for you. And that was his thing, is I'm just live just for the sake of being live. This is my everyday life. And if somebody has a question for me, chime in right now. So I started plugging stuff into our existing setup here at Chop It Up, and I was like, maybe one day me and P are gonna want to go live, and even if we do or we don't decide to do it, I'll still have the knowledge of knowing how to do it for a client that may want to do it, even if it's not us at Chop It Up that want to go live. What if it's a client that books you out and they're like, hey, I have this podcast idea, I want to go weekly on Facebook or on YouTube, and now is the time to figure those things out. You know what I mean? And that's what I did yesterday. And it was fun. You know what I mean? It was fun just having the time and having my little son sit on my lap and us watching YouTube videos and us plugging different things in and us kind of going at it. You know what I mean? And us I was ecstatic that at the end of the day, I had learned something on top of the knowledge that I had already had. And I think that's what P is saying, is this is the perfect time to not be worried about money and the smaller things, because when money's going to come, you know what I mean? And money's going to go. But at the end of the day, the knowledge that you can gain during this downtime, rather than just sitting in a closet or sitting in your bedroom and being stressed out, is invaluable. You're not going to get this time back, because guess what? As soon as they say everybody could go outside again, everything is going to be ramped through the roof, because all of these projects that you feel like you're not getting calls for, all of those projects still have to happen. All of those dates are still coming up. All of that stuff that got pushed back, they still want all of that stuff to happen in the future. So use this time now to sharpen up those tools, sharpen up those skills, and get it.
100% get after it. This is time to speed up your workload or your workflow. Speed your workflow. If you know you're slow at something, then figure out something that's gonna help you get faster at it.
My ass is slow at editing, and I hate editing. Editing is not something that I like to shoot. I like to get out. I like to shoot. I like to turn lights on. I like to see the image, and I like to see when it's put together right. But I don't like to be the one behind the keys doing it. That's just not my thing. It has never been. I have never sat down and been like, I got my little drink right here. I'm always dragging ass, getting into the editing room, because it's just not something that I want to do. But right now, while we're off, I'm just going through all kinds of old footage and just whipping stuff up and just editing, because it's just, keeping those tools sharp. And if not keeping them sharp, sharpening even more, and me learning new shortcuts in the editing program that I'm using, and me doing different things to keep my skill set at least where it was when all of this first happened, if not being better. Because when I come out, I want to have a whole bunch of new products to launch. I want to feel like a brand new person. I want to feel like the new year, like the way that you set New Year resolutions right now. And I'm taking care of all of those. All of that's going down. You know what I mean? So as soon as they blow the whistle, I'm just going to open up and you guys are going to be like, damn, he was really in there working.
That's what it should be. You should never, there's no reason to stay still. Like there just isn't a reason to stay still. Even if you're not booking at the time, just keep working, man. Grab somebody, grab a friend, grab somebody in your household and just work on different techniques. Cause like what Ant said earlier, you never know what your demand can be. And
or what it should be.
And I can tell you there's plenty of times of, people are like, P, how do you stay booked? I stay booked because I look at things that are going to keep me in demand. That's why I don't focus on just one thing. Because I could have easily just been focused on just being a personal trainer. All the gyms are closed right now.
All of them.
I could have been running around here, jazzercising all on, and trying to get everybody. No, man, like I'm not even stressed about it. When the gym's open, I'll be good. Yep. But right now, I got another lane that I'm going to chase. And it's the same thing. That's how I look at like video. You have a camera. There's multiple angles that you can attack. So if you only record one thing, I mean, cool if you got a big, if you got a huge pool to pick from work. But if you don't, man, you putting yourself in a situation to not be able to show and demonstrate your skills in other areas when, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You're still pressing record.
Yeah, you're still getting something done. You're still getting something done at the end of the day.
It doesn't matter what it is. And if you apply that to, at anything, I guarantee you, you're going to dabble into some more business and you're going to find yourself getting more busy and more busy and more busy. And then you're going to be able to expand. And that's where you want to be at, man.
Right. If you did it right, you're not worried about right now. You're not worried about money because for an entrepreneur, it's saving for times like this. You should already expect them. If you look back in history, they continue to come. Different reasons. This time it may be this. Last time it was the housing market. The time before that it was the Great Depression. The time before that it was something else. So history proves that there's going to be a downfall in the economy at some time. But as an entrepreneur, you have to be up enough, and you also have to. You want to put enough to the side. You know what I mean? You can't always be out there partying with the Joneses if you're not getting the Joneses type money times 2, because the Joneses got a 9-to-5 to go back to. Your 9-to-5 is dependent upon how much work you put in when everybody else is asleep. So just something else to remember for even the young cats that aren't even entrepreneurs now, that are thinking that they are entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs. You got to grind it out. And P is the ultimate. You know what I mean? Like, he continues to grind. There's multiple tables that he's eating off of. And it's weird to say this, but the first time that I heard that was from my cousin Lamont. Tig, you want to be eating off of multiple plates, period. And when he said it, I understood exactly what he was saying. And I'm sure that I've heard that multiple times within my life, but you want to be eating off of multiple plates, meaning you don't want to just have all of your stuff, all of your income and devotion into personal training. And if you do have it all into personal training, you don't want to be just living in the gym. You want to have some form of online content. You want to have some form of maybe people that you train at home. You know what I mean? There's different ways to break down each industry. And I'm just using personal training because that's something that P does. But having multiple plates don't always have to be the same thing. P eats off of this plate. He eats off of that plate. He eats off of a bunch of different plates, but it all comes back to the same individual, the same company, the same person. You know what I mean? So leaving yourself open to different things like that is always going to be a good thing.
Right. I've always been told, like, you got too much on your plate, P. I'm like,
nah.
You worry about what you're doing over there, man. I'm gonna be all right over here.
We
trip.
Gonna get it. We gonna get it. And it's funny when, you see a lot of people that Like, I don't bring a lot of people over to my house. Not saying that my house is something that's crazy extravagant, but I know what I do and what I make at my 9 to 5, and a lot of people are going to come over to the house and just be like,
what you doing, bro?
Something ain't adding up. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's multiple plates. It just happens to be that my 9 to 5 takes up a lot more of my time rather than having a lot of little plates. It's one like big plate, and a lot of times I hate being there, but it's the comfort of me not having to worry about certain things. You know what I mean? And that's on me to take that, because a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, I'm at work and I don't want to be there. You know what I mean? But times like this is like, I'm happy that I have that place to go to. You know what I mean? So you have to take the good with the bad, you know? And a lot of times people come up to me at work, and I'm at work and I know my job so well that I'm listening to an educational podcast. I'm listening to an ebook. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get knowledge while I'm making that money. So even though I'm making $1 per hour at a job, at a 9 to 5, I'm still outside of that place and learning something else all at the same time to better myself down the line, or better myself in this film career. You know what I mean? So you just got to use what you have and be able to expand on it where you can.
Yes, sir. I hope y'all grab, man. We dropped a whole bunch of gems in there. I hope you guys grab.
We need a
something
gym
from it.
button.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Wait, there it is.
Oh, we got gems. Yes.
This guy.
Nigga found a joint.
No,
I'm your man, Anthony Smith,
P in the building.
and this is Chop It Up.
One more time.
We got gems.
One more time. This guy, man.
Yes, girl, yes. Good shit. Yes, sir.